Hey Nerd Herd, Dynasty Nerds here with another video on some players that we want to talk about, player. I'm Rich Dotson.
Matt O'Hare.
And we're here talking about Dameon Pierce, running back for the Houston Texans. And we all know the running back thirst is real, right? Like we all get dehydrated. We all want to say oasis of this beautiful running back. But the biggest need in fantasy football is always the running back position because it's so fluid. And it should be fluid on your Dynasty roster. And Matt and I both agree here that Dameon Pierce is going to be a really good sell for your Dynasty fantasy football team going this season. He's one of the draft winners. Didn't see anybody come in the draft to really kind of overtake his job. They did sign Devin Singletary.
In the free agency.
We don't love Devin Singletary.
No, we don't love him. But I think he's just good enough to be annoying.
Enough, because when it comes to breaking tackles, Devin Singletary is better than Dameon Pierce.
He is
for the most part.
Yep, it was 7.3% tackle break rate to 4.1 for Dameon Pierce.
And from a receiving standpoint, they're both pretty close there too, right?
Right around 30 catches each. Dameon Pierce had 30 last year. I think 37 for Singletary. So they're very similar in that respect.
So going into year two of this offense, we expect Dameon Pierce to still be the guy, but be annoyed, like Matt said, with Devin Singletary just enough. But when you have the youth at running back and you have that 1-year contract, that holds a lot of value. Definitely with Dameon Pierce. I mean, he's coming off as running back 15 overall in PPR leagues, weeks 1 through 14, and that matters because he didn't play from week 15 on. So he was a high-end, mid-range running back too. So he holds value. And we're not saying sell him because he holds no value. But you're always looking for those running backs that fall in that hashtag 2 to 3 year window that you can kind of recoup that value after using them for a year. And that's a good way to maintain fluidity on your Dynasty roster and to get value back. And Matt, you're looking at the trade value.
Yeah, so the trade finder, there's some crazy deals out there right now for him. Joe Mixon and a 25 third for Dameon Pierce. Pierce and a second for Stephon Diggs. I mean, that's a big time win now type of move. You're obviously getting the older wide receiver, but worth it. I think still Stephon Diggs is a better value. And in Superflex, Pierce straight up for Jimmy G. So, I mean, any quarterback nowadays in Superflex, a starter is at least a first. So that's, you're looking at that kind of value for a guy like Dameon Pierce right now, which, in our ADP, I think he was running back 19 overall. And that's kind of right around where his value is. But for in my opinion anyway, Devin Singletary is going to be just annoying enough where I don't think that's going to go up. I think that's going to at least even out or maybe even dip off if Singletary starts chunking in at that yardage a little bit more. So it's one of those things that I think is at least a high point. It might be a plateau, but I don't think it's going to get better for Dameon Pierce.
Yeah, and the value could maintain itself through the regular season, and there's always windows for you to sell the young running back, especially when a running back goes down, whether it be OTAs or training camp, and finding those windows. But I'm using, if you're a Dynasty Nerds member, I'm going through the league analyzer, seeing who needs a running back. I'm going through teams, championship contender teams, and see who needs a running back. If I can do a flip, like you said, for like a Joe Mixon plus somewhere along those lines, or even a really good category of, hey, if I'm a contender, here's my second and Dameon Pierce for your first, for one of those mid-range teams that you feel like a fit fall in the middle. And that gives you an extra first. 2 firsts gives you a lot of capital. Now you're in position next year to move up for a Marvin Harrison Jr., a Travion Henderson, and a Brock Bowers, somewhere on those lines. So there'll be some really good players there. But we both agree that Dameon Pierce falls in the category of a player that you should start exploring to get out from under now. Running back is the most fluid position on your roster. Hashtag 2 to 3 year window is going to be right 90% of the time on most of these running backs. And Dameon Pierce falls exactly into that category. Start floating him in now. If you don't get the offers you want, wait till right around week 1, week 2, the first injury, and make sure to offload and reap the benefits down the road. Nice player.
Yep.
Not a championship caliber player.
Exactly. Very short-term asset.